Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's just me, it looks like. Seems to be that I'm the only one who saw Working Man. Well, I guess we'll do a quick stream. I'll tell you what I thought about the movie, and we'll talk about it some more tomorrow morning, I guess. I thought some other people would go see it, but evidently I'm the only one who did. So, yeah, so what is a Working Man? Well, it's the new Jason Statham movie. And it's based on the book Levin's Trade by Chuck Dixon. And yeah, what is it about? Well, it's about Levin, who is a former British military man who's now working as a construction worker for Carlos Pena's family. And Pena's daughter gets kidnapped, and Jason Statham goes into action to save her. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. A little over long. There was some bits and pieces I would have tied up, and there's some stuff you could have trimmed out to make it a little tighter. But it was the screenplay was co-written by David Ayer, who directed it, and Sylvester Stallone, who was one of the producers. And overall, it was pretty good. And actually, tomorrow morning we're going to have Chuck Dixon on the show to talk about it some more. So, like I said, I'm going to kind of keep it brief tonight. So I guess there's no real reason to dive into it as much since nobody else saw it. But yeah, if you guys got some questions at all, I suppose I can answer those real quick in the chat. But this will be very brief overall. I guess I would give the film probably about a 7 out of 10, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. I wasn't quite as good as The Beekeeper, but it was still pretty good. I'm really curious now to read the novel that it's based on to see what the differences are. Especially curious about certain things that I thought could have been tightened up. So yeah, no time cards are necessary. Just going to do a quick spoiler-free review, maybe do a few spoilers at the end if anybody really wants to know. Yeah, tonight didn't work out quite like I planned. Action Com. I should have went the other way. Which I was going to do is do a quick show, go to a late show, and I would just be at the theater just a little bit ago. But no, yeah, is this more exciting than a Marvel chair review? Maybe. It depends on if you like the movie. Is it better than Snow White does, and does Rachel Zegler win? Yes and no. The accountant, the beekeeper, the working man next year will be the bus driver. Oh, yeah. Well, they had the trailer for the accountant, too, before the film. So, yeah, hello, Bryant. Hello, Walter, if you're still here. Morgan King. Hello, David Rose, RC, Phoenix Knight, Action Com, Sander Hammerslag, Dr. Sleep, RC. Yeah, David, what the hell's his name? The guy who plays the Hellboy in that one movie, and he's in Stranger Things, and now he's in the Marvel films. David Harbour. He's pretty good in it. He's got a kind of a supporting role. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. It, like I said, there's only a few things I would have trimmed. It literally just trimmed out. Otherwise, the movie is pretty solid. It's one of those things where you have something that happens where it's kind of pointless because you end up in the same place you were where you started from. So, yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything, and it's kind of in the third act of the film. Yeah, the Amazon delivery van might be next. Is the action better or worse than The Beekeeper? Actually, I thought The Beekeeper was probably a better film, although this was probably a bit more action-packed, I would say, like, as far as, like, once the action starts going. I mean, even from the start. It's really kind of like a modern-day retelling of The Searchers, the John Wayne film. Very much in line with that, kind of, if you caught the synopsis, you can see where I'm going with that. So yeah, it's really good. I can recommend it. I was hoping to have more people to talk to about it. Is Jason Statham the new Stallone? I think that's a good comparison. I think it's a pretty good comparison. You know, Dr. Sleep, I was a little disappointed there was no Stallone cameo, but yeah, no, it's a good film. It's a very good film. Is the sledgehammer named Otis? He doesn't say. I think he only uses it like once in the film. No, it's a pretty good film. Like I said, I could get into specifics, but I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. Yeah. So, Yeah, thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. I guess this has really been a boring stream. I apologize for no regular me tonight, even though there was a bunch of news, which we'll probably get to tomorrow in the course of things. But I guess head on over and say hi to Comics Division because I think they're live talking about the news. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. I see deleted scenes just popped in here. How you doing? And Sanders here as well. So yeah. Oh, you did go see it, Steven. Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to send you the link if you think you can hop in here and let me, because I ain't got nobody to talk to about it. Nobody else saw it. I'm glad to hear you did. Oh, okay. Awesome. I just saw your messages too. So there you go. We'll have Steven join us here in just a minute. So, all right, Steven, I sent you off the message there. And you can come on in and join me and give me your feelings on the film. While we're waiting for you, let's see here. We got Action Comics says thumbs up or thumbs down. And honor, I'd give it a thumbs up. I'd definitely give it a thumbs up. Jason Statham was Jason Statham. Statham versus Statham movie. Well, he did that one movie with what's his face called War. I remember that years ago. Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, even if it's just for a matinee. I saw it in the super screen at Marcus and Dolby Atmos. It was pretty good. So yeah. All right, Steven in the house. How you doing, Steven? Hello. Ground control to Major Steve.
Hello. Can you?
There we got you. There we got you.
Okay, cool. I've been
How's
fun
it
with
going?
StreamYard, folks. Going all right. Like I said, just got back from my screening, and
You said you've been reading a book too. I saw in the chat that you sent me.
I have. I didn't get a chance to. I didn't get a chance to finish it, but
okay.
but seeing as the movie doesn't exactly follow the book anyway, I don't
That's what
think
I
it
was
really
curious
matters all that
about.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering if you had the same issue with the film I did. Because there's only really like one part I had an issue with. But anyway, overall, what was your thoughts on the movie?
I thought it was a bit of a mixed bag. There were what I would consider to be some tonal shifts, and because what I'm talking about is that when you have, and I tried to explain this during my out of the theater review, was you have like the old school gangsters, right? These guys who they're down with these guys who are like from a prison gang, and they've been together and they have all of the tats and they have all their rules and all this, and then you have the younger generation who kind of thinks they're like Romans or something. It's really weird with some of the fashion choices, I would say. So that was a little weird. Didn't bother me, but it was a little weird. There were things that were changed from the book that I didn't think really made sense. That's neither here nor there. It's two different mediums. Things are going to change. I didn't hate it, but there was something kind of really. There was something kind of off about it. And I can't quite put my finger on it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it by any means. It's not going to be in my 10 worst of the year or anything, but it's not going to be in my best either. It's fine. That last 20 minutes though, holy smokes, where he just rips into these guys. That's great. I had a lot of fun with that ending. Not to go too far into to spoilers, but
I mean, we can probably put up a spoiler warning, and I was going to say because there's a few things I wanted to talk to you about that would probably be a little spoilery. So
okay.
let's put up a spoiler banner here and
All right.
get into that. So yeah, because what was the major changes that you noticed from the book to the movie of what you've read so far? Anyway, I guess is my question.
Uh, well, in the book, it's not a human trafficking situation. Um, she just kind of runs into the wrong guy, who just happens to be tied in with these Russians, and they make it pretty clear, like they do in the film, that he's not one of them, because they like I said, they have their rules, they have their hierarchy, and Demi, he does not respect those rules very clearly, either in the book or in the film. So it's almost like he is apart from them, but because he has done what he's done, that now that means that Statham is going to come down on the whole organization. He by his actions, he has exposed them. So there are some race swaps, but you come to expect those nowadays. I in this case, I don't think that really hurt the movie at all. But there are, if you've read the book, then there are some characters that are going to be very different than how they were in the book, or at least how they're described in the book anyway. But then again, there are a lot of characters, like I said, mostly the types who are the characters that I refer to as the Romans, these characters that are like in all of these like garish costumes and all, and like there's nothing like that in the book. But so those are some of the major ones.
I guess I didn't have so much of an issue of like I guess I thought I realized there's different layers to this thing where you have like
Yeah.
the old Russian mobsters, the younger generation coming in, and there's this whole thing of like the whole thing is that if you fuck with these guys, they will destroy 3 generations of your family. Well, that's basically what Statham is doing to this one guy.
He
Right?
does.
So like yeah, so it's kind of a it ties itself up in that sense. I see what you're saying because like yeah, you're right. These newer kids that are coming in, I think they're supposed to be portrayed that way, kind of like with the Beekeeper, where the young kid's a fuck up,
Yeah.
right? And it's kind of the same thing here because that's basically all these guys are basically fuck ups in some way, and this whole thing is being brought on by this black sheep of the family because he's dabbling in all this drugs and I'm kind of just explaining more for the audience, but he's dabbling in obviously drugs and human trafficking, and they pick on the wrong girl, of course, and that's where Jason Statham gets involved, and he's just kind of working his way up the food chain, trying to figure out where this girl is before it's too late, obviously. And that's kind of where, in that third act, where it kind of fell off for me, like, because up to that point, I was really with it. It was clicking along for me. I was fine. I didn't have any of the issues that you're kind of bringing up, at least the personally ones, any of those personally. It was when you had the scene where she escapes from the car, has this like 5-minute chase scene, only to get caught by the cops and taken right back where she started from. Yeah. I hate that when it happens in movies because you can basically just trim around that and nobody would know a difference. And right there, you would just basically clean up a good 10, 15 minutes of the movie. Because that's the thing, there's this back and forth with, let's kill the girl, because what the girl did was her first time she was supposed to meet with a client, she ends up biting his fucking cheek off. So at first they're going to kill her. Well, then the guy wants to actually do it himself. That's all you had to do, was have it be like, kill the bitch, and then like the next scene you have the guy go, no, is she still alive? I want to do it myself. Or just have that from the very start, that the guy, as soon as he gets out of the hospital and keels up, wants to take care, take it into his own hands. That gives the girl a ticking clock to
Right.
stay alive, right? Because that's the thing with me is like, it gets to the point where you're like, why do they even hang on to her for a bit? Because like after she escapes at that one point, like, and they get her back, it's like this whole kind of, like I said, it kind of just feels like, okay, we're meandering a little bit now just to kind of fill in some space here that doesn't need to be there. Because otherwise the movie was clipping along really well before that. That's when it slows down. But then right after that is the scene you were talking about where it picks back up again and you get your climax, the huge, and it is, I don't know if you heard me when before you came in, I basically said it's kind of a modern retelling of The Searchers with just one guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I'll give
In
you
a
that.
way,
It is, yeah.
because you have this guy who's kind of the old school, he's kind of ostracized in a way by society in certain ways. And they kind of show that a
Mhm.
little bit.
They
I mean,
do.
he's not like
Yeah.
totally treated like shit, but I mean, he even has that one scene where he's, because, excuse me, the
Mhm.
side plot to this is he's trying to get custody, or at least not custody, but more visitation time with his daughter, because there's his father-in-law has got custody, and he's basically keeping him from his daughter as much as possible because he sees him as
Mm.
a threat and dangerous, because he
Mhm.
blames him for the death of his wife, whom killed herself.
Yeah.
And so it's this big thing going on in the background, and he's basically homeless at the start of the film, and he
Mhm.
sleeps in his truck. And he's just at this. He works for the Pena family. I don't remember the name. I think it's the Garcia family in the movie.
Garcia. Yeah.
Yeah, and but Michael Pena. Did I say
Michael
Carlos
Pe
Pena?
Michael
I meant
Pena.
Michael
Yeah.
Pena. I said earlier. I said his name wrong. But Michael Pena's family. He's working for them, and they're good to him, and he, like he's a good worker for them. So like, there's this whole like rapport going on between them. And as soon as shit pops off, they come to him and they're like, "We need your help because the cops ain't gonna do shit, obviously. But by the time they get to anything, should probably be dead, all that kind of business." And he first says no. And again, there's another scene where it's like you go, but the beauty of it is that that's the first time we meet David Harbour. But other than
Mhm.
that, because like there's another point where you're just kind of like, he's gonna do it. Why are we wasting 10 minutes on him deciding if he's gonna do it or not? Right? Like
Yeah.
again, those are my only two times that I really kind of griped about the film to myself while I'm watching it. Otherwise, I was engaged. I was fine with it. I thought the bad guys were fine. I kind of liked the flashier young generation meets the old guard
Yeah.
of yeah, I get what you're saying. I can see where it's
Yeah.
kind of off-putting and there's like a tonal because you're right, because you have like this Godfather-esque feeling about the old
Yeah.
mafia guys,
Like,
and the
it's
young
like a
guys are coming out dressed like the fucking Matrix, or like they're gonna be in an LL Cool J video or some shit.
yeah. And I was thinking about it during the movie. It's kind of like Trotsky meets Prince. It's just like
And
they're
again, like I just
yeah.
took it as like, it's this generational difference
Yeah.
between the two. Yeah.
That's what it is. And you have it's kind of like, and I said this earlier. It's kind of like it's kind of like in John Wick between like Vigo and Yosef. You have these you have like the old school guys who have the rules that they stick by, and then you have like these entitled little pricks, who
Kinda,
just
yeah.
think they're so smart and really know nothing. Mostly because they're so you know
Well, yeah, because that's what
because
like
they're
Dimitri's.
entitled into drugs and all of
Well,
that.
yeah, because Dimitri's basically got him into dirty business, right? Like the whole Godfather thing where he doesn't want to get involved with,
Mhm. Yeah.
drugs and stuff. And that's kind of what brings the whole thing down in a way. Not so much about the drugs, but the human trafficking bit.
Mhm.
And it just, I thought it was pretty well done. I thought Sly and David Ayer did a good job with the screenplay. Now, I haven't read the book. I'd love to read the book now that I've seen the film. I was going to try and read it beforehand, but I just didn't get a chance. But no, any final thoughts about the movie though? I figured we'd just talk real quick about it and give everybody our thoughts. I don't want to get too deep into it because
Yeah.
we are going to talk a bit more about it tomorrow. But
Right.
yeah, it didn't sound like you enjoyed it as much as I did. But
Uh,
I can recommend it. I don't know about you, but
uh, I would say I tell you what it did remind me of real quick, and maybe it'll explain my feelings. is it reminded me of like a throwback to like a 90s action film, you know,
Oh yeah.
or like something like Kiss the Girls or something, you know. This is not the same kind
If
of
it
movie,
starred
but I mean,
Sylvester Stallone, yeah.
yeah. If this were like Kiss the Girls starring Sylvester Stallone, that's what this is.
Exactly,
And,
yeah.
yeah, and it very much has Stallone's and David Ayer's.
Oh yeah, this is definitely
It
a
has
movie
their
that
s
Stallone
it
would have
has
made
their
back in the
stamp
90s.
on it. Yeah,
I mean, you could have
very much
almost
so.
converted this in it almost feels like this is part of the inspiration for Last Blood.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And because like
Um,
I mean, I'm watching this movie, I'm like, you could have converted this into a Rambo film easily.
oh,
Like
yeah.
Rambo's just because I mean, Levin and Rambo are basically the same character almost in a way.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Because I mean, I could sit there and picture like Rambo's just trying to reintroduce himself to society. He found this family who took him in.
Mhm.
They allow him to work, and they deal with his you know weirdness, or however you want to put it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of is. It does parallel Last Blood a lot. Not to spoil anything, but I mean, if you saw Last Blood, it has a lot of similar kind of.
Yeah, you can s there are some similar beats, yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, well, like I said, I'm not in love with this movie by any means, but I didn't hate it.
All right,
I
well,
wasn't
I gave it
bored.
like a 7 and a thumbs up. What would you say?
Yeah, I'd say like a 6 or 7, yeah, I'd say.
All right, so marginal recommendation from you as well. So there you go.
Yeah. But,
All
hey,
right.
my word to the folks in the chat, and hello again, chat, would be go see it, and decide for yourself, where you are on it. Uh, is it going to be for everybody? No, but I think people who kind of remember, what a 90s Stallone action movie was like, and this is a throwback to that. So, yeah, check it out.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's very much like I think most people will feel like they got their $10 worth
Yeah.
walking out, especially if you're a fan of classic. Kind of just there was nothing in the movie that I would say was like overtly woke or
No.
felt like it was out of place in any way. And I haven't read the book. And you said there are some like race swaps or something like that, but
Y Yeah. There are. Um but I in a w I don't mean that as like a dig on the film necessarily because the
right.
actors that they got, I think are great in the parts. David Harbour's really good. I wish he was in more of the movie. Um, Michael Pena, even though he kind of disappears from the movie for quite a bit, but yeah, yeah. Like I said, there are race swaps. I don't think it hurts the movie though. I think they went for let's find the best actor for the part kind of a situation.
So you mentioned David Harbour. So he was whitewashed from the movie
Yeah.
or from the book? Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
So it went the other direction.
Yeah, it went with both of them because, both his characters and Michael Pena's characters are white in the book. No, no,
Oh,
the Gunny is black in the book, and
oh, okay.
Pena's character is white in the book.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
So,
And, I don't mind it.
yeah.
Actually, that was one of the parts I thought was kind of funny with the movie was how it's like, why do you people keep feeding me? Because that's a very Mexican family thing,
Yeah.
just and then daughter's like, because if we don't feed you, then you'll eat nothing but fucking peanut butter and tuna.
Yeah.
And she's not wrong, probably. But yeah,
No.
David Harbour as Gunny was probably my favorite kind of character in a sense of like I love the daughter. She's like, do you remember my friend Gunny? She's like, you mean the blind guy who doesn't realize he's blind? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
not true.
they
I mean, he knows, but it's just he acts like
yeah.
he's not blind, basically.
Yeah, I mean, they did get that character right despite
The
the
only
fact
other
that
thing that stood
yeah.
out to me was like the intro felt like it might have been put together by AI. Did you get that at all too, or was it just me? Just the
Yeah,
intro, just that like
yeah. It probably was.
it kind of feels like it
Yeah.
once the troops start coming in, because the whole opening is basically, I believe it's the flashback to how Gunny lost his eyesight,
Yeah,
and you're just
that's the
kind of
idea
seeing
I
it in
got,
like
yeah.
flashes, yeah. And it doesn't really like connect to the story per se, other than that you're just seeing like this flashback through the credits kind of thing. And the way it comes off, it just kind of feels like, I'm like, this has that AI kind of feel to it for some reason. Or at least it was they used AI in some of it. I would say it's a solid 7.
Yeah.
I'd go 7 or
Mhm.
7.5, but it sounded like Steven would say 6. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
we're
would say
close.
probably like a 6.5 to 7, yeah.
All right. Well, I think
Yeah.
we'll wrap it up there, and you guys should check us out tomorrow on the morning show, where we'll have Chuck Dixon himself on to talk a little bit about this and all the other news that's going on. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in with us. Take care of yourselves, and thank you, Steven, for hopping in.
You're welcome anytime.
Anything to plug? You got a channel, I know that.
I do. Actually, in about 20 minutes or so, my regular Thursday night show, Coming Attractions, where I let everybody know what I'm going to be doing for the next week, kind of touch base with everybody and kind of say hello. And I'm going to be appearing tomorrow night on Big Al Presents for Films with Friends, and we're going to be watching Critters from '86.
Oh, I
So
love that film. That's a
catch me
favorite
there.
of mine.
Yeah.
That's a great one. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
Well, check that out. There you go.
Cool.
Maybe I'll try to hop by and see what you guys talk about.
Love to have you.
All right. All right, kids. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you very, very soon.